Action on the road for the Golden Flashes. How did they fare against the Buffalo Bulls and Miami Redhawks?
The Cleveland Cavaliers took a trip down to the Lone Star State to take on Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Could Evan Mobley and Jared Allen contain the #1 overall pick?
The NHL All-Star Game is upon us. Which teams made it to the All-Star Game finals and so much more as Sports Corner starts right now. Good evening, Portage County, and welcome to Sports Corner. I'm Liv Sharp. That's Blake Galoja.
And from the court to the field to the rink, we've got all things covered here at Kent State and around the sports world as the month of February has gotten into full swing.
Let's jump right in. The Kent State men's basketball team split their week of games by beating Buffalo over the weekend but losing to Miami on Tuesday. The Redhawks forced Kent State to commit 13 turnovers in a 71-67 loss at the Mack Center. But on Saturday, Kent State turned it around on the road, taking care of Buffalo 83-52. Giovanni Santiago led the way as he had a double-double of 17 points and 10 assists. The Flashes will be back in action tomorrow night as they take on Western Michigan at 6 p.m. You can catch all the action on ESPN+.
And on Saturday, Kent State was scheduled to take on Central Michigan. However, the game was canceled as the Chippewas were forced to forfeit due to a lack of available players for the game. The matchup between these teams will not be rescheduled, and conference rule states that this results in an automatic Kent State win, though overall record will not be impacted. The Flashes will start a 2-game homestand Wednesday against Western Michigan. Tip-off is slated for 7 p.m. on ESPN+.
Running over to track, Kent State competed in both the Mayo and Akron Invitationals over the weekend as program records were broken. Christian Neffler set the men's pole vault indoor record with a mark of 17 feet and 6.5 inches. And Grace Luther won the women's weight throw, setting a PR at the Mayo Invite in Notre Dame. At Akron, 4 Flashes took top 3 finishes in their respective events. Track is back next weekend with the Tyson Invitational in Arkansas and the Spire Indoor Games.
Moving to the mats with wrestling as the Flashes were in action on Saturday, traveling to take on the Bloomsburg Huskies. Kent State dominated the Huskies, winning 8 of their 9 matches in a 37-5 overall victory. The Golden Flashes took 3 matches by major decision, highlighted by Pablo Castro's 17-4 win. This match wraps their road portion of the regular season as they return to Kent for the annual grudge match against Ohio at 7 o'clock on Friday.
The Kent State gymnastics team took on the Ball State Cardinals this past Sunday. In the battle of the top 2 teams, the Cardinals came out on top with a score of 196.075 to 195.525. Despite the loss, senior Sarah Haxton won her first event title of the season, scoring a 9.9 on the beam, setting a new career high for the Indiana native. The Flashes in the floor routine were led by freshman Danny Fuertes, who scored a 9.875. Flashes will look to bounce back on Sunday, February 11th in the Mack Center against Northern Illinois.
So we are here with our resident gymnastics expert. So Della, the Kent State Flashes have dropped their last 2 matches. What's going wrong for them?
Yeah, so I'll explain their home opener first of all. So basically what happened was they were very, very strong on vault, absolutely incredible. Then in the warm-up period before bars, Heidi Schultz fell off while doing a handstand just in warm-ups, getting used to the equipment, and that really shook the team up. They had, I want to say that everybody fell on bars on that meet, and then they went on beam, which also takes a lot of balance and confidence, and they just didn't have that back. They didn't really gain their mojo back until the floor, and by then it was too late to come back against, who was it? It was Western, I'm so sorry. It doesn't matter. Anyways, then last week they were so close to defeating Ball State in Indiana. I'm so sorry. And the scores were really, really close, but they weren't able to capitalize on their weaker events like beam and bars. So yeah.
So Della, what do the Flashes need to do to bounce back at home against NIU this week?
Yeah, they really need to pay attention to the details. They have to hit and bring the energy. The sidelines are really electric with the team, but they really need people to come and show up and be loud. I've talked to them in interviews during practices, and have said that that is truly how they believe that they are most successful. They have to put up 49s in each event. They've been hitting 48s. They've only hit 49s on the floor section of it, and they're struggling with that, so they have to be able to hit on every single event.
So after losing Rachel Dukavich, the Flashes haven't had the strongest front on all around. What do you expect to be that person moving forward?
Yeah, I have a lot of people in mind, Nastia Rudenskaya, Heidi Schultz, or Danny Fuertes. Nastia has been a rock star at everything, but she doesn't do very much floor. I've seen her in practice, she's great at it. It's just because Kent State's floor team is so powerful, they really don't have room in the lineup for her, which is unfortunate. But with a little growth, she could get there. Heidi is great. I've seen her in practice on all events as well. However, she's young, just like Danny Fuertes. They're both young on the college scene, but they've proven in certain skill sets that they can be very successful, and I've seen them in the gym for myself. They're great, and I think moving forward, maybe next year, we'll have a strong all-arounder to send us home. But the reality of it is, it's not really necessary to be successful. In the team component, it doesn't matter if you have an all-arounder or not. It just matters if you're top 5 from each event. Top 5 from each event go score together, and it's all good. So it's not really necessary. It's just kind of a fun little thing to have a really strong individual all-arounder.
Well, thank you for the deep dive, Della. Want to relive the year 2020? Well, when we come back, we'll take a look at Super Bowl 54 rematch between the Chiefs and 49ers and what you can expect in 2024.
Will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back. With the Pro Bowl games behind us, all that's left is the biggest game of them all between the Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 58. The Kansas City Chiefs will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl for the 4th time in 5 years. After a season-opening loss to Detroit, the Chiefs went 7-1 before their bye week. They hit a rough patch when play resumed, losing 4 of their 6 games after the break. After finishing the regular season 11-6 and winning the AFC West, the Chiefs knocked off the Dolphins at home, then went on the road and beat Buffalo in the divisional and Baltimore in the conference championship.
And the other piece of this rematch puzzle is the San Francisco 49ers. After starting the year 5-0, they hit their stride midseason, going on a 6-game win streak and locking up the 1 seed when the Eagles started to slip. In the playoffs, they've had comeback wins against the Packers and Lions, but behind the arm of Brock Purdy, the legs of Christian McCaffrey, and the hands of Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, they have come back with a vengeance. Now, Blake, I want to talk a little bit about, the Super Bowl, some storylines we've got going on. You mentioned the dynasty. So my question is, if the Chiefs win this, of course they cement themselves as a dynasty, but is this the greatest dynasty of all time?
I would say it's a work in progress right now. I think that they are definitely on the right track to become one of the best dynasties of all time. You have some of the best ones going back with the Patriots. I mean, they ran the league in the 2000s. It was 9 Super Bowl appearances in 18 years, winning 6 of those. I mean, with Tom Brady, they were just on another level. You could talk about the Steelers way back when. But just how Patrick Mahomes leads this team with Andy Reid at the helm, it just looks like that they could be one of those dynasty teams. They know how to win on defense and on offense. We saw it this year where the offense really wasn't doing much, so the defense had to step up at times. And just somehow that offensive line always works out in the postseason for them. And I think that's a big thing for a dynasty, is a strong offensive line that can stay consistent. I think that they could be a dynasty in the next few years.
You know what? I agree with you. Certainly not yet, but I'm going to say I don't quite think it's possible. I mean, not right now. We're only about 5 years into this dynasty. Looking at it, I think absolutely it's going to be an insane dynasty, and it's going to terrorize the league for probably, another 5 to 6 years. But I simply don't think that they're going to be able to beat some of the greats. You mentioned that Patriots team. I mean, 18 years, 6 Super Bowls, 9 AFC titles, 17 division titles. You can say it's mitigated by Spygate, Deflategate. I do not care. They're still the best. You said the Steelers in the 70s. I think that was one of the greatest dynasties, and I think it's kind of underrated. Those rosters were stacked with Hall of Famers constantly, and 2 of those Super Bowl wins were against the other powerhouse team of the 70s, which was the Dallas Cowboys. I simply don't think that right now the Chiefs are at the level that they should be, but I do agree with you that it's possible. It's a work in progress, but
yeah, it's going to be close.
Maybe
those are some amazing teams back then.
Well, we're getting a little hypothetical. Yeah. If Brock Purdy was playing in the 2020 Super Bowl, do you think San Francisco would have won?
No, I don't. I don't think the comeback by the Chiefs would have been, it still would have happened. Mm-hmm. I think that they were just overpowered in that second half, and Patrick Mahomes, he's a magician, especially in when they need him. He just got it done. I don't think Purdy would have done much of anything differently.
I'm going to say I agree with you. I don't think Purdy would have won it. You know who I think would have won it? Christian McCaffrey.
CMC, yeah.
Because in that fourth quarter, Shanahan completely abandoned the run game. And granted, their main running back was Raheem Mostert. No knock on him. He's insanely talented. But Christian McCaffrey is otherworldly. And I simply think that if Christian McCaffrey were in that circumstance, abandoning the run game with him simply isn't an option. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Purdy would have, hit Emmanuel Sanders for that wide open touchdown, but it's hard to say.
It is very hard to say. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll get to see the rematch this year.
We
see
will.
What happens. Well, all of these guys had to start somewhere before heading to the Super Bowl. Our own Ryan Shanko is here to give us his deep dive, and maybe some of them might make the big stage next year. Take it away, Ryan.
Thank you, guys. And what's up, Portage County? Like Blake said, I'm Ryan Shanko, and this is the deep dive. I'm back and so excited to show you a whole ensemble of new NFL draft prospects. And all semester long, I'll be letting you know the who's who and what's what leading up to this year's NFL draft in April. For the inaugural deep dive of 2024, we're heading down to the Empire State of the South, the Peach State, even the Watermelon State, if you will, to take a gander at University of Georgia tight end Brock Bowers. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So to start off, we need some context. What did Brock Bowers do while he was at Georgia? Well, over a 3-year career, 175 catches, 2,541 yards, and 26 touchdowns. Wild numbers, great numbers, but what really kind of caught my eyes, he averaged a 9.6 yards per carry and added 5 scores on the ground. How is a tight end averaging 10 yards a carry? That is just not normal. Let's talk about it. He is just a rare talent. He's a rare build of a guy. He's 6'4", 240 pounds, and he is just a monster after the catch. He averaged 8.7 yards after the catch throughout his college career, and he can really line up at any position as a tight end. He can line up out wide, in the slot, or in line in a 3-tech like a regular tight end. And he also has that rushing upside that I mentioned before. As a receiver, though, this is where he really sets himself apart, because he does not play like a tight end when he is out in the field receiving the ball. He does a fantastic job. He's very cerebral, tracking the ball in the air. He gets his hands up to high point the ball right at its peak. He is 6'4" already. When he gets those hands up, it's a matchup nightmare. He's elite at creating separation over the middle, especially when he's got a linebacker on him, because he's got a rare wide receiver-like burst and quickness. When he gets a bend and turn at the top of his routes, it's hard for corners to keep up, much less a linebacker. And Brock's also got a low center of gravity. which means he has great balance, and at 6'4", that is just a wonderful attribute to have. And then finally, he just shows, he's got the it factor. He shows an incredible ability to make catches and just play well against anybody that he has faced, regardless of competition. He's won 2 national championships, and he's probably gonna try to help whoever drafts him win a Super Bowl, either as a rookie or in the years to come. Now, no prospect is perfect, so I did find a few things that Brock could probably improve on as he goes to the next level, or maybe learn in the pre-draft process. I think with that big frame, you got to learn how to use it. You used to wall off defenders, box out defenders on breaking, comeback, or sit routes. And then also, once you wall off that defender, use your hands and attack the ball with your hands. Because with as big of a catch radius as he has and as big of a frame as he has, he should not be getting walled off or stopped by, especially cornerbacks in coverage. Another slight concern I have with him is his health. He had an ankle injury in 2023, and at the end of this season, when he came back from that ankle injury, he did not look fully like himself. So I think he just needs to make sure he does everything in his power to stay healthy. And finally, one last thing, he could improve as a run blocker, but he's so valuable catching passes that part of his game could be stepped over just a little bit. Overall, final thoughts, he's a top 10 pick. He could be a top 5 pick. Right now, I think his best fit is the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert desperately needs another threat on the outside, and Brock Bowers could be that game-changing player for a new regime with Coach Harbaugh. And that's going to do it. That's the first deep dive of the semester. Brock Bowers is going to be, he's going to be a very fun to watch for years to come. And you heard that here first. I've been Ryan Shenko, TV2 NFL Draft Analyst. Now let's throw it back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Ryan. The Cavs take the road down to San Antonio to face the 7'4" Frenchman and the Spurs. Can Donovan Mitchell and company get it done down south?
Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother
I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back. The Cleveland Cavaliers got to enjoy some nicer weather than here in San Antonio. Let's see if they can stay hot in a hotter climate as we take it down to the Cavs taking on the Spurs. First time the Cleveland Cavaliers are seeing Victor Wembanyama, and he made his presence known in this game. Wemby, defended by Jared Allen, gets outside the arc, and there's a three to pull the Spurs within one. Now, Spurs played from behind most of this game, but there is no quit in this team. Devin Vassell pitches it across the court, and Wemby brings the hammer down. Spurs down by 3 in the second quarter. Darius Garland swings the rock to Evan Mobley. Mobley has 3 defenders on him, just tosses up the shot, but that one goes in, and he gets the foul. Mobley ended the game with 28 points. The man, the myth, the legend, the Spider, doing it all for the Cavs, getting tricky for the three-pointer to put the Cavs up 20. Like I said, he is doing it all. Dishes the ball to Jared Allen, and it's a dunk for the double-double king as he notched his 22nd of the season with 26 points. Cavs having a great night. Mitchell with the steal and the one-handed slam. Take a look at the replay. Mitchell just flies down the court and brings it down hard, but this game had some off-court fireworks too. Mitchell catches an elbow from Zach Collins while he was setting a pick, and Mitchell gives him a little shove there. Collins got a flagrant 2 for the play and got ejected, while Mitchell only got a technical, but he ended up getting ejected for retaliating. But he's still going to be the hero Cleveland knows him to be and give his jersey to a young Cavs fan as he leaves the court. But hey, Cavs still get the W, 117-101 over the San Antonio Spurs.
Hello NBA fans, my name is Patrick Sartor, and from players wanting money for not playing the sport to close finishes in Oklahoma City and New York, we invite you to come on in, join us, let's do it, come on, and we'll go around the NBA. We'll start here. For LeBron James, another great game, and for them, they're just trying to keep up with everyone else over there in the West, and a great play here, down to Russell off the ground, and a yam in the hoop by Bron. Vintage there, we see it so often. And then here, Brunson through traffic, up and over the tall, lanky Anthony Davis, gets it in there for 2. Brunson, an incredible year for him. He's been doing this all year long and continues to do it here against one of the best. Now on this one, we see Max Christie in the corner. The triple, it's good. Why wouldn't it be? It's 3 more for the Lakers. Now in this one, Brunson is gonna pull up, shimmy, shimmy, yay, shimmy, ya, get it around and put it in for 2. I mean, this guy has really had an incredible first half of the season. On this one now, you're going to see Brunson down here, and he's going to pull up now for 3. Another triple for him, and in a continuously great game that he showed in New York. LeBron now passes it out to Reeves. He hits the signature triple. That's going to put this one really close. This one was close all the way down and into the 4th. And LeBron here with a signature fadeaway. We've seen it so much for those locals here. Puts it in for 2 and really puts the Lakers ahead there by 9 with 2 minutes to go, helped them come away with the victory there. Brunson, like we said, incredible first half. We look to see such an exciting player. We hope he can keep that up as we keep going. But from New York, Blake, take it away.
Well, New York's seen that face before. RJ Barrett, he's over in Toronto now as they were taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he got it going early as he splashes a 3 from the top of the key. 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists for RJ Barrett. Now, time winding down in the first. This is a great sequence of plays from Toronto as Schroeder gets the layup, and then Thaddeus Young picks off the inbound pass, and he gets a bucket right before the end of the first. Good all-around performance off the bench from Young. 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. There's Scotty Barnes getting in on the action from deep, and Toronto had a big lead, and then they blew it going into the 4th quarter. It was all Oklahoma City. There's Josh Giddey finishing on the other end. Team high 24 points on 9 of 15 shooting, and that was a big bucket to tie it up in the 4th quarter. So we're going to go to overtime. We didn't talk much about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but man, did he have a phenomenal performance. 23 points, 14 assists, and 9 rebounds, and that would solidify it as we went into double OT, and the Thunder win at 135-127. Liv, bring it home from 305.
We have Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers taking on the Miami Heat. Let's go. Harden snags the rebound, makes a great outlet pass to Kawhi, who brings it down for 2. Heat up by 5 in the first. Jordan Miller driving into the paint, pitches out to Kawhi, and bang, that is a 3, and the Clippers have the lead, but we know Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat will not go down without a fight. Butler banks a 3 and pulls Miami within 2 with 2 minutes left in the second half. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has the ball, tosses it to Bam Adebayo, and bam! That's a monster jam to tie things up before the end of the half. Harden getting in on the action. He gets himself a triple. He had 21 points, showing glimpses of his former self, and I know Clippers fans are very happy about that. In the end, it was the two-headed monster of Kawhi and Harden that took down the Heat 103-95. Kawhi notched a double-double in this win, 25 points and 11 rebounds.
So, Pat, with so much being said about the new 65-game rule in the NBA, where do you stand, and do you make, and what some of the recent comments, how do you make them?
A lot of them. A lot of these star players are out making a lot of comments about this. So it's interesting. So first we got to understand it. So what is the rule? So starting this season, NBA players, they got to play 65 out of 82 games in order to qualify for the most marquee awards. Now, what are those awards? Those being MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player of the Year, All-NBA, and the All-Defensive Team. And so far, we already have players that won't qualify, like Kyrie Irving. He will not qualify. He's missed too many games. LaMelo Ball, Jimmy Butler, and now Joel Embiid with the injury he's had. It's going to linger. he'll miss too many to win any awards. And of course, we've seen what Joel Embiid can do in winning MVPs, right? So players that are on the radar, they're on the bubble of that, okay? Kristaps Porzingis, he's at 14 missed games out of 17. He's close. Tyrese Halliburton, he is at 13 out of 17. Donovan Mitchell, okay? Local guy, we love him so much. We want all these awards for him, right? He is at 9 out of 17, so he's got to be a little bit careful there as we're now at the halfway point. And then Bam Adebayo, 10 out of 17. Devin Booker, 9 out of 17. Those are the star players we're kind of keeping a look at and watching. So the owners are asking their players to play in 79% of the games, right? 79. Just 79. This isn't practice. We're not talking about showing up to team events. We're talking about the games themselves. Can you play 79 of them so that you can then have these awards, right? Well, a lot of players are having trouble with that. Tyrese Halliburton, here's the quote. I think it's stupid. Like plenty of guys in the league, end quote, in referring to the rule. So that's what I got to do. Take care of my body to be able to play in those games. And I think you're seeing other players in the league kind of face the same thing, as long as the owners are happy, right? So he's talking about happiness of the owners. So keeping your bosses happy. Yes, Tyrese, we have to do that sometimes. I think, Blake, Liv, have you guys ever in life had bosses that you had to please in order to keep your jobs and in order to get paid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Not just 79% of the time.
No,
100% of the time.
Exactly. If you are not doing it 21% of the time, if you miss 21% of work days, I don't know that you'll be working there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
So Draymond Green, he also said, I think the rule is BS. And he went on to say the rule is the reason for Joel Embiid's injury. And actually, wait, hang on. We're sitting back, we're saying, whoa. Well, he's right. Because his logic is, oh, he's playing, so he got injured. And you're right. When you play a physical sport, there's going to be some injuries. And when the reason why you make all these multi-millions is because you're risking these injuries. Yeah. So for Tyrese, we get it, right? If he doesn't make first team All-NBA, he'll miss out on $41 million. That's a lot. I mean, I would love to not miss out on $41 million. That'd be good. But in this country, we kind of have to work to get paid. It's been a notion we've been around for a long time. And why does Tyrese deserve it more than other players like Shai, and Luka, right? We've got these guys playing, in my mind, a lot better than Tyrese, I will say. And these guys having some historic numbers. We've seen what Luka's done, dropping his totals. Crazy. And he keeps going on. Like we said, so these players are upset, and our employees, whenever they want, can change the standard of our jobs. They can demand a change and move on from that. I think Draymond Green's more just upset because Kawhi Leonard had an elite 2015-16 season and took his Defensive Player of the Year award from him. I think that's kind of really what we're talking about, right?
Open wound.
Exactly. But Michael Jordan, everybody's favorite, the GOAT. Maybe. Local, I know, I'm sorry. Jordan broke his foot in the 85-86 season. Did he win awards? What do you think?
I'm going to go no.
No, because he hardly played any games,
Correct.
right? You have got to play to win the game, right? And so the moral of the story is these players want increased incentives and feel they're being robbed. However, I think someone playing 60 games out of 82, being given preferential treatment when other players, they're there for their team, their city, and the fans. I think that's what's so important. Why did this rule come in? Because some of these players are missing. You have young kids going to games, wanting to see their favorite players, and they're missing out on it because of load management and whatnot. So, at a time when so many complain about the ever-growing size of these players' contracts, these comments from multi-millionaires upset about not receiving more millions of dollars, I think it can fall on flat ears sometimes.
It does. Well, thank you, Pat. We're going to go over to an update from Sacramento, or from Cleveland actually, 91-72. Cavs are playing like they want that second spot in the East. And next, we'll take it down a notch as we go from campus to campus when we return.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine, and I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero.
Good job, kitty cat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Heidi Marshall, and this men's basketball season has been full of upsets. Let's take a look at some of the best games from this last week. As we head to Omaha, Nebraska, where number 13 Creighton takes on the Butler Bulldogs. Starting the first half, DJ Davis drives through the paint and finds Landon Moore for a three at the top of the key. Baylor's Shireman gets the pass right down the middle and finds Ryan Kalkbrenner for the lob, and it's an easy layup for him. 6:40 left in the first. Trey Alexander finds an easy pass on the inside, and Kalkbrenner lays it in, 34-31. Shireman, who led the team with points, finds Alexander, and it's nothing but net. Creighton is up by 10 at the end of the first. The bench is loving it. Beginning in the second half, Creighton has the ball, shakes Davis off, and bangs another three, 52-47 Creighton. 16:28 left in the second. Moore drives down the middle of the lane, and Bowden Kapke to drown another three. Look at that again, ladies and gentlemen. It is nothing but net. This game has been back-to-back, non-stop. Butler leads by 3, not for long, because Alexander hammers that one in. Less than a minute left in the game. Butler's trying to extend their lead, and Jamal Telfort for 2, and he makes it. I can't believe this. Butler Bulldogs just came into ranked Creighton's home and defeated them 99-98. Let's head down south to Texas Live.
Now we have the Iowa State Cyclones visiting the Baylor Bears. Tim and Lipsy hurls the ball across his chest here to Hassan Ward, who gets the two-hand slam to give the Cyclones the lead. Now Baylor's shot gets blocked. Langston Love gets the rebound and hits Jaden Nunn. He cashes in a big three, and Baylor is up 33-19. Later in the second, Curtis Jones feeds Milan Momcilovic, who makes the jumper, and Iowa State trails by 2. Keyshawn Gilbert tries a three. That one won't go, but Momcilovic is there to swipe it in and gives Iowa State the lead to cap off a 14-0 Great ball movement by the Bears. It ends in the hands of the MAC transfer, Ray J. Dennis. He makes 3, and Baylor retakes the lead. Dennis led the Bears with 18 points. Seconds ticking down in the game. Lipsy with a layup, and Nunn ends up taking the rebound. He takes his time. He knows that this final shot is his. He drives across the court. He'll swerve into the paint. He puts up the layup, and it falls. Baylor takes the lead with 2 seconds to go. But 2 seconds of time, as we know, is a lot of time. The Cyclones make a shot, and they make it. Momcilovic makes the shot, but wait. Let's look at the replay. Oh, he does not get it off in time by 1/10 of a second. Baylor escapes by the skin of their teeth, winning 70-68.
Heartbreak for Iowa State there. Let's go over to Kentucky. Tennessee was visiting them, and Zagai Ziegler is going to swing it over to Jordan Gainey, and he's going to net that three. Ziegler finished with 13 assists. Kentucky, they were playing an uphill battle most of this game as they've been down, but they closed the deficit there as Rob Dillingham, he had an amazing game. See more from him in a second, but we will see a lot from Dalton Connect all year long. One of the top players in college basketball, gets the and one to go there. Now, to the second half we go. We are going to bring it down, and Reed Shepard is going to stop, pop, and a picturesque shooting form from downtown. Keep that hand in a cookie jar. Now, Tennessee had all the answers as Josiah Jordan James is peer from deep. Kentucky could not figure out this inbounds play as Connect burned them not once, but twice with almost a mirror image of that same play, dunking it both times. Now, James, he's going to hit the dagger three to get Tennessee a big win after falling to South Carolina before they go on the road and knock off 10th ranked Kentucky 103-92.
Now we've traveled all around America, but let's bring it right back here to Kent State. Heidi, what do you think is going on with this Kent State men's team?
Now let's be realistic here. It is not the same team that we had last year. We lost some 3 great players, and when you lose those great players, you need to find people to fill their spots, and we have not found that yet, in my opinion. The culture is like something, for a team to be successful, you need to have a good culture. And when I look at that team and I see them go out there and play, I do not see team chemistry, team culture. It looks like none of them really want to be there at that point. And in basketball, when, like I said, they lost those players, all 5 of those men out on the court need to play at their best if they want to be successful and win. not one of them needs to come up and play exceptionally well. All 5 of them, because let's say Jalen has a great game. He needs help out there. Our defense, rebounding, we need to get offensive boards. We're averaging like 2 a game, which is very low. Chris Payton, this last game when we played Miami at home, he could not keep the ball. Like, it was ridiculous on how many turnovers we had. I think we had around 13 against Miami, and they scored 16 points off of those turnovers. So we need to keep the ball. They need to find out their team identity and who they are to really be successful if they want to turn their season around ultimately.
So Heidi, the new AP Top 10 poll just dropped. Who do you think should not be on that list?
I'm going to have to say Duke. I really am. They have not impressed me that much this season. They just lost last week to North Carolina. 3 of their players during that game scored over 20 points. And to me, that says a lot. If you have 3 players scoring over 20 points and you're still losing games, there's something wrong in your defensive end, whatever is going on. That's my opinion. And they were shooting at 26% from the 3-point line. And I just think if they can lock up defensively, they have all right to be there. But right now, I just don't see it. And there's teams I feel like that are being ranked lower right now that are outperforming them. And we'll probably see it once it comes down to the March Madness.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked a lot about players, but let's talk about coaches. What coach in college basketball has stood out to you this season?
I'm going to have to go with the South Carolina coach, Lamont Paris. This is his 2nd year now. He has put South Carolina back on the map. This is the first time that they have been ranked since 2016. Right now, they're currently sitting at 15th, and they're 18-3 and sitting first in the SEC. And I think that they are going to do well this season. He talks a lot about team culture, and he says that he hates that word, but I really think that he has built something great there. He has brought in transfers, and I think that they are going to keep going up and up from here.
Well, speaking of the top 10, thank you, Heidi. We're going to take a peek at that right now. UConn sitting in that top position at 1 with Purdue right on their tails. And North Carolina, Kansas, and Houston rounding out the top 5. Tennessee getting at 6, Marquette at 7, Arizona at 8, Duke at 9, and Illinois at 10.
Well, I hope you brought your coffee mug because Nico Crespo is here to brew up some piping hot takes to start off the year. Take it away, Nico.
Thanks, Liv. Well. Is it that time already? I think it is. It's time for the Crespo Coffee Hour, and I am your host, Nico Crespo. Yeah, it's been a while, and I'm sure you've been going to bed early, but it's time to keep you up with these takes. And with February being the official reporting month for pitchers and catchers, it's going to be an all MLB coffee hour. And with this first take, I think the MLB rules that are applied in 2024 should change back once the postseason starts. Now, one of the good rules they took away in the postseason is the ghost runner on second and extra innings, but I think they should eliminate the pitch clock in the postseason. They opted in to keep it in last September for the postseason, but maybe they should opt out this year and go back to the real postseason atmosphere. Last year, sure, it wasn't great. I wasn't falling asleep to baseball games, but like having to pay attention to every single pitch just to see a postseason moment is quite extreme, especially with the attention spans that these youngins have nowadays. I just wish there was the buildup and intensity of a pitcher and batter staring down each other, not on a timer. Let the players lock in. I feel like most pitchers felt rushed during the postseason, which led to some of them not doing their best and giving up runs. One of the main pitchers that I felt that were rushed during the postseason was Blue Jays pitcher Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman was one of the best pitchers with the year before the pitch clock, and with the pitch clock the next year, his ERA went from 2.85 to 3.35. Give the crowd time to get into what's happening, what's on the field. I would even be happy with a 30-second pitch clock in the postseason, but I beg, just go back to the non-rushed baseball in the postseason. All right, now it's time for some way too early division winners by both Central divisions. First, starting in the NL. I have the Cincinnati Reds to win the NL Central in 2024. The Reds really took the league by storm last year, winning 82 games and breaking even on the year and getting third in the NL Central, just behind the 83-win Cubs for second place. This Reds team has to be the youngest team in the NL, and I think this team will take over this putrid division. Spencer Steer, Christian Encarnacion Strand, and Jamie Candelario will carry this offense to a top 5 offense in the NL. They have 3 young stars in Ellie De La Cruz, Noelvi Marte, and Steer, Ellie De La Cruz scares me, however. He took the league by storm, getting called up in June in 2023 and caught on fire for the first month in the league. Then, realistically, fell off, causing nicknames like Ellie De La Mid, Ellie De La Regression trending on Twitter. However, the Reds pitching staff has to be the worst in the league, having Hunter Green and Graham Ashcraft as reliable starters. How I fix this is you trade Jonathan India for a reliable starter. Maybe Shane Bieber from the Guardians. Maybe you sign Brandon Woodruff, who is a free agent somehow, for a one-year prove-it deal season. What makes me confident in this team, however, is how bad the division is. Brewers, they lost, again, Brandon Woodruff, and they just traded Corbin Burns away to the Orioles for whatever reason. I don't really get that. Pirates can sneak up. They're the Pirates, whatever. Cubs have a chance, and the Cardinals, they're just the most inconsistent team in the league. I really don't know what's going to happen in here, but the Reds, I think, will probably sneak out of the division in Game 162. And to the AL Central, I think the Cleveland Guardians will win this division this season. And hey, you may call bias and you're entitled to your own opinion, but this team just says something different to me. Sure, they have lost the most winningest manager in the franchise in Tito Francona, but Stephen Vogt has a young mind and can relate to these players because he played in their generation. Let's talk about the lineup. Jose Ramirez, all-star and perennial MVP candidate every year. And I also think Josh Naylor has a 30 home run season this year. Steven Kwan, he'll get on base like usual for these power guys, and I smell an Andres Jimenez resurgence in the works. The pitching, I'd say, is the best since 2017. Shane Bieber, Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams, Tristan McKenzie, and Logan Allen, with the bullpen being good as well. I can't see the pitching selling most of these games. Paul Dillon, I need you to spend money on power hitters, please. I'm begging you at this point. This offense cannot produce on just J-Ram and Naylor. The fact that the Guardians do next to nothing to address the offense is quite offending because of how bad the offense was last year. When the Ohio Senator is saying for you to spend money on a power hitter, there is a problem. The rest of the teams in the AL Central don't really scare me, and it could be a total toss-up in the Central Division as well as the NL Central, like I said. But the Twins seem like the only one that threaten the Guardians. The Tigers, White Sox, and Royals don't scare me at all. And that's all I have for you tonight. I hope these takes can keep you warm through Sports Corner on Ice. I've been Nico Crespo, and as always, keep sipping.
Thank you, Nico. Lace up those skates because we have an all-star game edition of Sports Corner on Ice when we take a look at the 2024 NHL All-Star Games.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Another NHL All-Star Game wrapped up over the weekend, and it'll be the last one for a while, so join us as Sports Corner goes on ice. This is the first of 2 semifinal games. This is Team McKinnon versus Team McDavid. Team captain Connor McDavid gets the puck from David Pastrnak, and Jeremy Swayman, he never saw that one coming. His team captain gets the goal. This was an excellent game. Team McDavid gets a big win over Team McKinnon by a final score of 4-3, and I know celebrity coach Will Arnett is hype about this win, but they're headed to the finals. Who are they going to face? Take it away, Blake.
Well, it's Team Hughes versus Team Matthews to take on Team McDavid in the finals, and this was another good one as it's tied up 3-3 here. Bartzell swings it over to Trocheck, gets his own rebound, and he's going to just send this one towards the net, and Philip Forsberg is there to clean it up for the goal. And Alex DeBrincat also added 2 goals for Team Matthews and hit the shootout winner. Team Hughes falls 6-5.
Missed me? No worries. I'm still Della Fowler, and this is still Sports Corner. We have an icy twist now. Let's go to the championship. Battle of the M&Ms, Matthews versus McDavid. Here we go. Captain is going to lead into the zone, and Clayton Keller will be the man to finish the job on the feed from Matthews. Bang, right there. Early point for Matthews. Looking good so far, but McJesus is named McJesus for a reason. We'll see what he does here. His squad and the hometown captain, Boone Jenner, coming through the zone, goes right over Shesterkin's shoulder and ties it up on his first All-Star weekend ever. Go, Booney, go! Now, Nylander is going to come in for Matthews, trying to pass it to Marner, but it doesn't work. But he who does not succeed must try and try again, and exactly that is what he does. Mitch Marner finds the open net and does it all the way home. We are going to be almost tied up again. Just kidding, no we're not. I believe it's 1-2. Right off the face-off, Pasta gets slippy and slides one right past Igor, making it 2-2. That was quick. Now we're tied up. And there are things you can count on: death, taxes, and Austin Matthew goals. He takes the lead back for his team, and the other captain now entering and fast. He's going to set up Draisaitl, and they will tie it again. Can I get a bang from the audience, please? And now for the boys in the blue, Team Matthews, Barzy and Forsberg coming up through the neutral zone, and Philip, not Philippe, because I did mispronounce that in practice, gets on the corner of the net, doing beautiful, making it 4-3. Matthews is up again. Barzy and Forsberg duo, they're back at it again with DeBrincat in there too. Back and forth, and Barzy goes all the way up to the toy department. 7-4 Team Matthews. Barzy scored a goal against his all-star captain in the game going on right now, so I'm sure they'll get a little chipper in there on Twitter. Team Matthews takes it though, 7-4, and the fans are loving it.
So Della, did the All-Star Skills Competition bring any hints for how the second half of the season is going to go?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been known that Connor McDavid is from another planet, and he absolutely slayed the obstacle course. And I know slay isn't the most professional term, but there is no other way to describe it other than the fact that he slayed it. It was incredible to watch. It's an art form that he does truly. However, his team finally caught up with him. The Oilers can tie the record with their 17th win in a row tomorrow night at Las Vegas, which will make us all very happy here because it'll open the door for the Oilers to take the record away from our very own sports directors team, the Penguins.
So how did you like the new All-Star Game spin of a draft?
I love it. I think it's really fun and a creative way to do it. Most people think that, you know, it's the All-Star Game, it doesn't matter, it's not for anything, but it was fun to elect team captains and see who these generational talents pick to be on their team. You know, you love to see who the best people of the sport pick and shout out kind of as the successful people that you might not see a lot of the time, and I think that was really cool to highlight.
And Della, in the second half of the season, who do you think is going to win it all?
Now, last year Della would have laughed in my face, but I'm going for the Canucks. They've got a three-headed snake: Elias Pettersson, JT Miller, Brock Bowser. I mean, it's madness. And that was before they traded for Lindholm. Oh yeah, and they also have Quinn Hughes. What? Patrick Alvin has said he has committed to winning, and after seeing the Nucks strut it out in the All-Star Game, I am very confident in their abilities. One of my really good friends loves JT Miller. He's not a hockey fan, he just watches JT Miller, and I was watching the skills game with him, and he was just hyping the Canucks way up. So maybe I got some propaganda in my head. I don't know. I think the Canucks can do it.
Well, thank you so much, Della. And hey, don't go away yet. We've got our award-winning segments to go through, including a very own special hooper on the doorstep of history.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education. No one receives a diploma alone. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Welcome back. Well, I am beyond excited to bring you the first empowerment of the semester, and it is a doozy. So let's get into it. For empowerment this week, we are taking a look at Caitlin Clark's quest to break the all-time D1 scoring record. Now, WNBA star Kelsey Plum currently holds this record with 3,527 points, and Clark is second on the leaderboard with 3,462 points. Clark is nearing this record with 62 points to go, and she is averaging 32 points per game, so Clark could break Plum's record in just 2 more games. Do I think she'll do it in 2? It's entirely possible, but I think it's more likely she breaks it on her 3rd or 4th game at Indiana or home against Illinois. On her way to getting the all-time leading score record, she broke the Big Ten scoring record, which was set at 3,402 points. Will we see yet another record broken by Clark before the end of the regular season on March 3rd? Well, only time will tell. Iowa's next game is on the 11th, and Clark will continue her chase.
Well, welcome back into Blake's Best Bets. Get that DraftKings app open now because this game starts at 9 o'clock. We were spoiled with an amazing weekend slate of college hoops, and tonight is another great rivalry game as Kansas State is hosting the red-hot 4th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. The 2 teams are coming in on opposite trends as Kansas State has dropped 4 straight, while Kansas just clobbered number 5-ranked Houston 78-65. Kansas comes into the game as 3.5-point road favorites as Kansas State plays very well at home. I do believe this game will be relatively close, but I think the skill gap between the 2 teams is too big for the Wildcats to overcome. My top 3 picks for the game include Kansas money line, the under of 145, and Hunter Dickinson to have 15-plus points. The Jayhawks have won 25 of its last 26 games against non-ranked AP opponents, and each of Kansas State's last 6 home games have produced a total of 136 or fewer points. Dickinson should have a field day in the paint as the Wildcats have no answer for his height and strength. If you parlay all 3 picks, 10 will win you $37.
Keeping things on the court, my woman on the Silver Mountain is USC freshman standout Juju Watkins. Now this freshman standout has taken the world by storm and catapulted herself into the public eye with her 51-point night against number 4 ranked Stanford. She now holds the record for most points in a single game by a USC player. I'd also like to note that USC only scored 67 points, so Watkins scored over 75% of the Trojans' points, which is the highest scoring percentage by a single player in the last 25 seasons. This monster game came after a rough stretch for USC, and it was a much-needed win. Watkins also had 11 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 assists, making her the first freshman to have over 40 points and 10 rebounds in a game this season. I mean, what else can you say about this performance? It cemented Watkins her place as the Freshman of the Year frontrunner, and it is a sign of amazing things to come for the Trojans as we head down the home stretch of the regular season.
And for my man on the Silver Mountain, I am going with Wyndham Clark. The reigning U.S. Open champion took the crown at Pebble Beach this weekend after only 54 holes. The tournament's final round, scheduled for Sunday, was suspended at first, but then canceled after a shelter-in-place was ordered for Pebble Beach community because of heavy rain and high winds. The players knew Saturday was their last chance for good playing conditions, and Clark took full advantage. He came into Saturday sitting at 5 under and in the middle of the pack, then proceeded to shoot a course record of 60. The round included 9 birdies and 2 eagles with only 1 bogey. Clark was electric on the greens as he made just less than 190 feet of putts on the round, a record since such statistics have been kept at Pebble Beach. Clark was knocking them in from deep as he holed 5 putts from 25 feet or longer. This is Clark's 3rd PGA Tour win, and he got to head home with a $3.6 million winner's share of the $20 million purse.
And we know you've missed it, so let's get into it. The first All-Pro Hell No this semester, courtesy of our friends over at 92.3 The Fan. Blake, the Cleveland Guardians will get over 82 wins this season. Before you answer,
yes,
I want you to think, what have the Guardians done this offseason?
Absolutely nothing.
Correct.
But I'm sipping on that Crespo coffee because I'm going all pro.
Wow.
We still got the GOAT right there, Jose Ramirez, even though we won't pay him anything. He's for reason wants to stay with us. Thank you, Jose. Keep playing well. Stephen Vogt, as Crespo talked about, young manager. He's going to be a player's manager, and I think that's going to fare well for the Guardians. Gavin Williams, Tristan McKenzie, 2 of those guys in the rotation. They have to step up, and I hope that McKenzie can stay healthy. That was a big thing with him last year. He got injured in 2 different scenarios. If they can stay healthy, that rotation looks amazing. We just got to hit the ball. I mean, that's how I feel every year with the Guards. Just got to hit the ball.
It's so true. Well, Blake, I'm going to be opposite of you, and I'm going to say, hell no. No. What have they done this offseason to improve the team in any way? They have spent $1.1 million this offseason. Now, to you and me, that's a lot of money, but in any sort of pro sports, it's really not. Sure, they signed Christian Bethancourt, brought back Austin Hedges. Amazing to have that kind of club leadership, but other than that, they've done nothing. They've let De Los Santos go and Quantrill go, and although I do think that we're moving in the right direction with the young, hip manager, I don't really know that it convinces me that the Guards will be any stronger this season. It's going to be the same lineup as last year. They had 76 wins, and honestly, I think the ceiling for this team is at 80 games. I know that's kind of insane to say. The line is set at 82, but I think that 80 is the absolute ceiling. I fully expect to see this team perform just like they did last year, and it's really hard to say because there are so many amazing players on this roster. Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, but they really are missing depth in the middle of that lineup. And like Nico said, we are begging the Dolans to spend money on a bat. Please, anyone. JD Martinez, he's still a free agent. Sign him. He was great at the Red Sox, had a good season with the Dodgers. Bring him over here. I think he would be a great fit, but I'm going to say right now, hell no. Back to college hoops, South Carolina's women's team is undefeated. Do you think they are going to finish the season undefeated?
I'll go all pro with it. I mean, they've had a pretty tough schedule. I mean, that conference is just always tough. But they've picked up some big wins against both LSU and Utah, both ranked wins. The big question, though, is these next 2 games. Camila Cardoso, their best player, is going back to Brazil for the Olympic team, so she's going to miss the next 2 games, which includes a ranked game against, it was number 11 UConn. So they're going to have to step up and tough those 2 out. But if they can get past those 2 games, I think they're going to use that momentum to carry on an undefeated season.
You know what? I am going to have to disagree with you. I think odds are they are probably going to lose that game to UConn. Cardoso isn't the biggest scorer, but what she really does is she matters a lot on the glass, and I think it's going to be difficult. And if they don't lose that game, I see them losing an SEC matchup. Arkansas has been amazing as well this season. I personally, unfortunately, don't believe that they'll finish out undefeated, but I think it'll only be 1 to 2 losses.
It'll be a fun ride. We'll have to see.
Absolutely, and that is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more content from us, make sure to follow us across social media at TV2 KSU Sports. I'm Blake Aloja.
And I'm Liv Sharp. Have a great night, Portage County.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine. And I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero.
Good job, Kitty Cat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.